Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you finding me for the first time, welcome. My name is Jo De La Rosa. I was one of the original cast members on Bravo's Real Housewives of Orange County, and now I'm here on YouTube, living in Hollywood, and typically on this channel I do fashion and beauty videos, anything from makeup tutorials to how to wear to showing you guys a vlog and a little day in my life. But this week I'm actually starting a series that's been really close and dear to my heart. In my life, I've really gone through a lot of really hard stuff. I called off 2 engagements in my life and just trying to bounce back from that and trying to heal my broken heart. And how I did that, you know, starting over at a little bit of an older age. I just turned 40 years old and I'm not married with kids. I just left a 10+ year career in digital advertising to start completely over again and try to make it in this crazy influencer and YouTube world. This series really was inspired by you guys. I know that there's a lot of you out there as well that are looking for advice on how to start over after an engagement or after a breakup, life advice on how to start your career over. There's just so many life topics that I want to cover on this series. Now, this video specifically is going to be for anybody that either just got out of a relationship or you just got out of an engagement and you're trying to start over again and heal your heart. Maybe you're not even in a relationship. Maybe you've just been battling low self-confidence like I used to have and still battle with it sometimes, you know, not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy enough, not feeling like you matter because of things that have happened in your life that can kind of kill your confidence. If these are all things that you are either struggling with or you know somebody that is struggling with, I'm just here to share my heart today and hope that this helps even one person out there. So if this is you, keep watching as I go through my 5 tips on how to love yourself and putting yourself first again. I have a little helper today, my little cup of joe. But also really, if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with coffee. So there's that. I have some notes because notes. So my first tip, is it a tip? Is it a tip? So the first lesson that I learned is from one of my best girlfriends, Christina Inuzzi. This was shortly after calling off my 2nd engagement. She taught me it's okay to put yourself first and be selfish. I don't know about you, but for me in my relationships, I really always tried to put the other person first. So much so that sometimes you start to compromise and you start to give up the things that you really want in a relationship. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe in compromising 1000% in relationships. I think relationships require you to compromise. But there comes a point when you compromise so much the other way that you start to put that person's needs first, so much so that you give up your own needs. I feel like that's where you can start to lose yourself. Obviously, it's important to take care of the other person and love the other person as much as you can, but I think I did it to a point where I started to lose myself, my wants, my passions. I started to sacrifice my dreams, that I started to lose sight of the things that I needed and I wanted in my life. And one thing Christina said to me was, Jo, you put everybody's needs before you. And it's kind of like an airplane. When an airplane is going down and all the oxygen masks start coming down, in order to be able to save anybody on that plane, you have to grab that oxygen mask and put it on yourself first. I don't know why this advice like really made a light bulb go off in my head. It really rang true to what I was experiencing in terms of trying to be there for this person so much and trying to save this person and help them through their stuff, that it got to a really unhealthy place because I completely lost myself in doing that and lost sight of everything I was trying to go for, which is crazy because I consider myself a really motivated and driven and focused individual, but during that time, I just put the relationship first. I really had to learn how to be selfish again. And that was 2020 for me, really this year. And really making that decision that no matter what, I was gonna put myself first for the first time ever and really go after the things that I wanted. And so it's okay to say no, to walk away, put yourself first and be selfish for you. Like, do it for you. The second lesson that I've learned in my life is always trust your gut. You know, there's this little voice inside you. Sometimes it's really quiet, but sometimes it's really loud. I always listen to that. I don't know where you are in terms of what you believe in, but for me, it starts with a little voice in my head, and then I have to take some time, sit on that little voice, and I have to close my eyes and pray to God and ask him if this is where he wants me to be and go directionally. So whatever it is that you believe in, go with that, but trust your gut and trust that whatever the answer you get that you feel in your heart is the answer, that's the direction you should be going. The first time I called off my engagement, it was really hard because he had 2 kids. And the second time I called my engagement off, I was a little bit older. I started to get scared because I'm getting too old to start over again. You know, I think I was 36 at the time when I called off that second engagement. Society might say you should be married with kids by now and all of that by that age. But for me, like, I'm such a big believer of not settling. And so some people might say, oh, it was 2 failed engagements. But I don't think there's such thing as failure because I learned so much from each of those relationships. Trusting my gut to call them off and knowing that it wasn't where I was supposed to be was the right thing for me to do, but it wasn't a failure. The first engagement, I learned how to be a mother, like really young. I was 25 years old, I believe, when I got engaged, 23, 25, somewhere around there. I learned how to be a mom to 2 kids. I've taken that life lesson and can apply it now whenever that time comes. The second engagement, I met him and we started a company together and it became really successful. Had I not gone through that, I would have never learned how to run a company, start a business, manage a team, and grow a successful business. And even though after almost 7 years of being together, it didn't work out, I take so much from that second engagement. I take a lot from the first engagement. And so there's no such thing as a failure. So whatever it is that you are thinking about doing and that move that you think is a risk, listen to your gut and do not settle. Do not settle for anything less than what you deserve, because you deserve to have the life of your dreams. And if you're anything like me and there are voices in your head that tell you this might not happen for you, you're not good enough or young enough or whatever enough, fill in the blank, you tell that voice to sit its little butt down and take a seat, because you're gonna do it. You just have to have the mindset that you can, but more than anything, for me at least, you just have to have faith. You have to believe that God or the universe or whatever it is that you believe in is going to put you at the very end of all of this exactly where you're supposed to be. And that's the only thing that I move with. People ask me all the time, what gives you that drive? Like, what empowers you to be able to take those big risks? And honestly, it's my faith. It's my faith in knowing that it doesn't matter how many times I quit or start over, I'm going to be successful in the end. Whether that's success in business or success in relationships, it's gonna happen. So you have to have faith. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. It has helped me so much in my life. And right now, because the state of the world, people aren't really working out as much and maybe eating as healthy as they would. Comfort food, at least for me, is just what I really love. And so my third lesson in learning to love yourself again is looking in the mirror and just saying to yourself that there is nothing wrong with quarantine body. And there is also nothing wrong with your body, period. I've shared this story on Instagram. I have struggled my entire life with body dysmorphia. It started when I was in high school. I got put on the Getting Fat Fast list. I came in number 7. And ever since then, whenever I would look in the mirror, I wouldn't see what other people would see. It doesn't matter what size you are. What you see in the mirror with your eyes becomes your reality. So for me, what you see is maybe a girl that isn't all that heavy. But when I look in the mirror, the thing that I have struggled with is I don't see that. I see something completely different. I see something heavier that, because I'm crazy a little bit, because it's a struggle and the little voices in your head try to convince you otherwise, that you need to lose weight or you look puffy or whatever your voices are, my voices like to tell me. And so for me, looking in the mirror and just knowing that it's okay wherever you're at, whether you've fluctuated weight during this crazy quarantine time time, wherever you're at, it's okay. You are beautiful no matter what you look like and what size you are. For me, I thought that working out and having a hot body was gonna like all of a sudden find me the perfect person. And that's not at all the truth. That's the biggest lie I've ever told myself. And so for me, what I've really learned is that person, your person, is going to see you at whatever size you are, and they're gonna love you exactly as you are. And so love yourself and love your body and accept the way you look in the mirror for you. And when that right person comes into your life, he's gonna love you for you. And that's good enough. You're good enough. Your body is beautiful enough and good enough. And you don't need to change and lose weight for anybody. If you want to lose weight and you want to be healthier, you do it for you. But don't you dare do it for anybody else. So that's what I had to consistently tell myself in the mirror. And so whenever I got that message through my head, it really empowered me. It gave me back control of my body. Again, it's still something I struggle with and have to fight on a daily basis, but it gave me back and gives me back control of deciding whether I want to lose weight or not. And so that's really how I'm learning to love my body and love myself first again. Little sip of coffee. Okay, the fourth lesson that I have learned, it's okay to accept that you aren't Superwoman. It's okay to accept that I am not Superwoman. I used to be the kind of person where everybody would come to me for advice. Everybody would come to me and I was the rock in my circle of friends. And so when it was my time and I was hurting, it was really hard for me to be vulnerable and like go to my girlfriends and ask for help. When I called off my second engagement, like I needed a place to stay because we lived together and we owned a company together, and financially I was needing a little bit of time to figure things out if I was gonna, you know, get a job or keep trying to start my own business again, and I needed a second. And financially, I was really scared because it was a company we both owned together, so that was gonna be messy for a minute. I didn't know what I was gonna do, and I was living in LA, and it was really hard for me to ask for help and go to my girlfriends and be like, can I crash on your couch? But that's eventually what I had to do when I realized I wasn't Superwoman and it was okay to ask for help. I think it was a pride thing. I'd had a really long run with success in my career where I financially didn't need anybody and could support myself for a long time. And then one day I couldn't. That was really humbling. And so I had to go to girlfriends and even my family for a little bit, go back home for a little bit, which was embarrassing for me, right? To just reset. But I'm so thankful that I had my family there. There was nothing embarrassing about it. Like, if you have your family there, that's such a blessing. Use them to be able to just get yourself centered and start over and hit the reset button. And once you've figured it out, if you have really great girlfriends like I had in my life, or friends, use your circle of friends to be able to help you get to where you need to go, and they're there to help you in the hardest times. And for me, that was something that took me a long time to be okay with. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to admit that you can't do it by yourself. You know, I've heard this phrase and it goes, some people say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I'm gonna call bullcrap on that, because sometimes what doesn't kill you knocks you down on your ass for a while, and you are down there for a lot longer than you'd like to admit, and you gotta cry it out. Ugly cry moments running down your face, and you gotta work it out down there at rock bottom for a while. That's what I had to do. And the great news about hitting rock bottom, silver lining, once you hit rock bottom, you can only go back up. It took me a long time to also be okay with the fact that I wasn't okay. It's okay if you're not okay. That's another part of really loving yourself. It really kind of drives me a little bit crazy when you have to pretend like you have it all together. You know what I mean? A couple of weeks ago, I just turned 40, and I had this moment that I posted on Instagram stories where I had a freak out. And I know there's all these people that talk about like, love yourself getting older and all this stuff and accept yourself for wherever you are and blah, blah, blah. Yes, I agree with all of that, but also I agree with it's okay to have an absolute Kim cry meltdown, which I did, and it's okay to lose it for a minute and like recompose yourself and get it the hell back together. So, end rant. And my last and final lesson that I have learned and has really helped me be able to stay positive and hopeful is realize it doesn't matter how old you are, it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start chasing after your dreams. It's never too late to start finding the one. It's never too late to start over. You know, society likes to put this stigma on people sometimes that you should be married by a certain age, have your career figured out by a certain age, go to college and graduate by a certain age. All of that is crap, because in my life, in my experiences, I am now on my 3rd career at my age. And yes, I've been couch surfing and had to literally downsize and give it all up, sell everything to pursue this dream of mine. Ask friends if I could crash at their place for a little bit until I started making enough money to be able to financially support myself. But after a year of doing that and working my absolute fanny off, I am now in the happiest place I've ever been. And no, financially, I am not even close to where I was when I was making 6 figures and working in digital advertising. Not even close, but you guys, I'm here to tell you that none of that matters to me when every day I get to wake up and you get to wake up living your dream, pursuing and building your dream. And yes, blood, sweat, tears, late nights, hours, sometimes having to like microwave my food and figuring out if I want to eat this month or pay the bills, right? But I've never been happier. I'm now living back up in Hollywood and can finally afford having a studio and living on my own again and all of that. We've been very creative in how we have decided to do this, and it's not exactly yet where I want to be, but it's a step in the right direction, and it's never too late to start. So get creative, put yourself first, and come up with a plan, and then jump in and pursue that plan with your whole heart. Have faith, and just know you've got this. I know God's got me, and it's all gonna work out in the end exactly as it should. And if I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail so big, but knowing that I gave it my absolute all in doing this, because I never want to get to the end of my life and say to myself, I wish I would have, and have regrets. We only get one time to do this life, and that's how I'm putting myself first, and that's how I'm loving myself, is by doing that and pursuing that dream. So yeah, so that's it. Those are my 5 tips, lessons, things that I have learned in my life and am continuing to learn, things that I live by and consistently have to remind myself of. It's definitely work, and it's definitely something that I never get right every day, but just having those things there as reminders really help me be able to stay hopeful and be able to stay encouraged and inspired. So I really hope that those tips and lessons help somebody out there as well. So if you guys like this video, I know it was really different than what I typically do, please give it a like and comment below and let me know what are some other things you would love for me to talk about in this Little Cup of Joe series, things that I can help you with. So let me know in the comments below. And also, if you haven't yet, hit that notification bell so that you know every time I post a new video. All right, guys, that's it. I will see you next week and hope you enjoyed this video. Mwah.